Well, hello friends, and welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at a whiskey I've been meaning to get to for some time now and just haven't, and I'm excited to do it. Today is High West's Campfire whiskey. Now before we get into this thing, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour, let it breathe, and then let's talk a touch about the mash bill, shall we? Let's get us a nice pour. There it is. Beautiful. Took a little color to kind of start us off there. Kind of a rust, we might say. A bit of a penny, maybe. That's nice. So let's talk a little bit about this mash bill. I've got some notes here for us on my phone. All right, here's what we're dealing with the mash bill from the Campfire whiskey from High West. We got 95% rye. That's a lot. 5% malted barley. Now that is just for the portion that is sourced from MGP. Now we have 80% rye and 20% malted rye, and that's High West's own distillate. And then we have some bourbon in there as well. That's 75% corn, 21% rye, and then 4% malted barley. That's also from MGP. And then finally, there is a small part of this that is a scotch that is undisclosed. So we actually have several different whiskeys in here. This is a blend, and I believe the scotch is meant to bring in that peat and smoke. So quite a unique blend here that should have some pretty fun flavors. Kind of excited about that. Now High West is a unique distillery based out of Park City, Utah. It's actually Utah's first licensed distillery since Prohibition. In the 2010s, I believe, they were really getting some traction and coming up with some unique blends. They distilled their own, but they also blended from MGP and other places and came up with some really unique things, and some of the stuff became fairly pricey, became fairly prized, if you will. And that's a win. In my mind, anything that gets some unique flavors from around the country, gets more options on our store shelves and our bars, that is a good thing. And so I'm really excited to taste this one from High West. And I believe it is that time to put it on the nose. And before we do that, you know what to do. Go down a little south, maybe hit a thumbs up on this video. And if it's your first time here, consider subscribing. Costs you nothing, helps us out in the algorithm. And rumor does have it, it does make you 75% more attractive to the opposite sex. That's what I hear from some unscientific studies that we're having verified, but it can't hurt. Give it a shot. Let's get it on the nose. Okay, so right away, you do have some peat and you do have some smoke. Those things are there, but they're not overpowering. There's also a sweetness to it. There's also, it's like a candy. I want to say, let's do that again. You know how it is, you got to try it a couple times. Yeah, I'm getting a candy, maybe like a Heath bar. A Heath bar is toffee, it's a chocolate covered toffee. I think so. Brown sugar, for sure. Little caramel, like those little caramels that your grandma used to have in she'd give to you, those Werthers? Was that a caramel? Yeah, there's caramel, there's toffee, brown sugar. The smoke and the peat are there, but they don't destroy it at all. They don't overpower it. Just kind of weaves in and out. Here's a little smoke, here's a little peat, but oh, here's some sweetness, here's some floral notes. So it all kind of comes together in that way. Very pleasant, actually. I really like this nose. It's much sweeter than I had expected. The smoke is definitely not overpowering. It's actually kind of delightful. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, let's get into it, guys. Let's take our first taste. This is the High West Campfire whiskey, Slangevard. First thing, wood char, like the barrel char. You get that kind of right there. Now, this is an interesting one because on my first sip, I get that initial barrel char, and then I really get the finish of the peat, and it's kind of staying. I'm getting some peat still. And the other flavors, not overpowered, but they're just not as pronounced on that first taste. Sometimes that's how it goes. You got to take a few. There are definitely some sweeter flavors here. There's a touch of nuttiness. I'm getting that pretty strong, like a mixed nuts. Maybe a little raspberry. Okay, there's the caramel and there's the toffee. Those things are still there for me. Now I'm getting some vanilla as well. Wow, that vanilla is coming through now. That's kind of cool. That is a neat and pleasant flavor. I will say on that first sip, barrel char and that peat and smoke, like those things are gonna kind of stay with you, and they're gonna bridge to your next sip and subsequent ones. But as you go, that sweetness is gonna come out, and it's gonna find its way onto your palate. There's a little bit of a nuttiness. It's definitely not overpowering. It just kind of pops up there and says, "Hey, I'm here," but the other things are gonna take control. And that finish can be a little floral too. I'm definitely getting some, man, that's really well balanced. I really like that. That's really nice. Now, as I continue to sip, one thing I am getting on that finish, kind of coming up through the palate into the nose, is the same kind of sensation you get walking into a humidor. That slightly musty tobacco, which I find super pleasant. I love walking into a humidor at a good cigar bar and taking in that smell before choosing the stick I'm gonna start with. You know, that's something pretty cool. Oh, speaking of which, before we finish this, I do have a video coming up that's going to talk about how to pair a whiskey with a cigar. So if you enjoy one, but if you enjoy both, but have not found the combination to be super pleasant, hopefully I can help you out, give you some starting points. But let's get back to the High West. This is actually an outstanding drink. I really, really like this. I'm sorry that I waited so long. It's been on my shelf for a while. You can see there's even a little dust. I'm embarrassed, but it's so good. It's so good. That peat is there, but it just in and out, and I like peat. So if you don't like peat, you are still probably going to enjoy this drink. If you like something on the sweeter side, that peat just kind of balances out those sweet notes. It's really, really pleasant. Nose, palate, and finish, I like them all. I can see where the finish and the lingering of the peat and that tobacco could be off-putting to other people. Taste is subjective. It's very pleasant to me. I like it very much. You know how we do it around here. Is this slap your mama good? This is slap your mama good. Might do it 2 times. I really dig this, man. High West Campfire whiskey. Yes. Get some. This is excellent. Great part about this whiskey is whenever I go in to a package store, one of the few, several of the few around here that I like to frequent, this is available. Their double rye, which we've reviewed, that's available. They have, I believe it's called their Rendezvous Rye? Damn, forgetting the name. That's available. High West is an available whiskey. Doesn't seem, at least in my area, to be heavily allocated. So it's something you can get, and it's really worth it. Guys, that's the video for today. Slap your mama good, you bet. I might do it twice on the Campfire whiskey. I really like it. If you haven't had one, please give it a shot. This is really, really good. Until the next one, friends, to good friends and great spirits. We're on a roll. We've had some good ones in a row, huh? I'll see you on the next video.